On the President Provost broadcast that kicked off the fall 2019 semester, I previewed a few of the things that are coming up on the podcast. If you haven't caught some of those, you can go back and check out our Mind the Gap episode. But I also announced that we want to help you share the gift of podcasts. And so, in order to encourage those of you who have discovered the joy of podcasts to share the gift, we are going to do something special beginning now through September 30th, 2019. If you show a colleague how to subscribe to a podcast, and we hope it's Our College Your Voices, but it can barely be anything you want, just take a quick selfie together. I will make a donation of $1 to your campus's Circle of Ivy for each new subscriber from your campus. Now, because we can't just look at our subscriber numbers and tell where you're from, you do have to take one additional step to make this happen so I know which campuses should get the money. Just upload the photo and fill out the quick form. It just asks for both of your names at link.ivtech.edu/give-pod. That's link.ivtech.edu/GIVEPOD. You have a chance to take up to $500 split across our campuses out of my pocket to increase the dollars available for Circle of Ivy grants this fall. And if your photos get especially creative, or perhaps if you share the gift of podcasts more than anyone else, there might be a couple of additional special prizes sent directly to you. So remember that sharing is caring, and share the gift of podcasts with your colleagues. Welcome to Our College Your Voices. I'm your host, Kara Monroe. We have made several changes to IT security over the summer, and as our faculty come back for the fall semester, we wanted to give you a little update on some of those changes and hear from a couple of our experts on IT security about some of the threats that the college faces, some of the efforts being undertaken to protect us, and just a basic introduction to some security terms that you might not know and might want to ask about. So I'm really excited to have our panel here today. Let's go ahead and meet them. So first up is Thomas Reedy. Hi, Thomas.
Hi, Kara.
Could you tell us a little bit more about yourself, please?
Sure. I am the Chief Technology Officer for the college. I've been with the college now 16 years and been over IT security in various roles for the last 5.
Very good. Welcome, Thomas.
Thanks.
And Tom Taylor. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Kara.
Again, you introduce yourself, please.
Yep, I am Thomas Taylor. I'm the Director of Information Security, and I've been with the college for about 7 years now.
Okay. And you are Thomas and Tom, and you've always been that way. Tom Taylor, I've always wanted to ask you, did you change when you got here because of this guy, or?
I've predominantly been Tom, but that's probably not confusing in any way.
Well, your voices sound different enough. I think our listeners can get to that. So let's dive in with some questions here. So talk to me a little bit about what the mission of information security is for the college. What do you guys do for us?
Do you want the unofficial answer or the official answer?
I'll take both, actually.
Okay. Well, the unofficial answer is to keep the college out of the 6 o'clock news.
Okay.
That is our
Absolutely.
unofficial answer. The official answer is to protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the college's data and their IT resources.
Absolutely. And I think I always think of it in addition to the 6 o'clock news, you play a really vital role in protecting us. You know, we think a lot about our physical safety, but in this day and age, we also have to think about the safety of our digital presence.
Yes.
So you do a lot to do that. So what are some of the biggest threats that the college deals with or faces?
Right now, Kara, I'd say that is probably phishing, email attacks.
And that's the one with the PH, not the F.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of the attacks the college faces would come in over email. So we get a lot of email. The college has a lot of employees, a lot of students. Yep. And that's where the bad guys like to target folks. It's the easiest way into an organization.
And you guys shared some stats at the executive council meeting last week, which is part of the reason I asked you to be here today. Can you give us some of those stats? Because I've never heard that room of people. It's all of the chancellors and cabinets. I've never heard them audibly gasp before until this. Can you share some of those?
Sure. So just to kind of put some things in perspective, on average, the college receives about 75 million emails a month. Of those emails, 80% we reject outright as malicious. They may attach a virus or something that basically triggers our systems. No way. In addition to that, we block another 22 to 25 million inbound network attacks. They're targeting our network to get unauthorized access. Also, we are receiving another 1.5 million attacks a month that are in the nature of websites that we block or attachments that we block from being opened.
They're daunting and a little scary when I see those and hear those.
Those are big numbers.
They are. So what are some of the other threats that the college faces? I know we've talked about support scams as well.
Yeah, support scams are something that's very prevalent right now. We see this a lot in pretty much all over the place. But basically, a support scam is you'll be surfing around the internet or something, and then all of a sudden you'll get a type of error message on your screen. Something's very threatening or concerning.
Right.
A lot of people would, it scares you.
Right.
And a lot of times it'll contain a phone number, and then if you call that phone number, that's kind of what the scam is. They're trying to get you to call them. The bad guys try to get you to call them so that they can convince you to either give them remote access into your computer, by way they can start stealing your data or deleting your data, whatever they want to do with it. In most cases, they're trying to get money out of you. So a lot of the scams involve things like payment in iTunes gift cards, anything gift cards. Bitcoin's also very popular right now. So basically, if you hear anybody asking you for gift cards or Bitcoin, that should just be a big red flag, and you want to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah.
To kind of piggyback on that, going back to the phishing for a moment, we are being targeted. And by that, I mean is that the college has lots of projects going on. We have construction projects going on. We have thousands of employees. And the bad guys, I like to call them, they know that. And they're researching ahead of time, okay, what are you guys doing? Who are your employees? So when they send out phishing attacks, they're targeting us. They're saying, okay, I'm going to target your construction projects. I'm going to target your employees. And I'm going to try to intercept their bank routing information, or I'm going to try to intercept this payment on a construction project. And, they're getting more and more sophisticated. And, we are a large institution. We are I think last I saw, $600 million in revenue, that we basically collect every year. They want a piece of that.
Right. So I highlighted at the top of the episode that we have made some security changes recently. Can you guys talk about some of those? Sure.
One of the things that we've implemented lately is two-factor authentication. And in a nutshell, two-factor authentication is that I confirm your identity with two methods. And there are three kinds of methods that we can use to identify who you are. The first thing is that you know something. We can identify you by your password. We can also identify you by something you have, your driver's license. And finally, we can identify you by something you are, your fingerprints. So when we do two-factor, we take two of those methods and we use them to confirm you really are who you say you are. In this case, for our college's email, we implemented two-factor for there. And we said, okay, so it has to be something you know, your password, as well as something you have. In this case, we're going to send a prompt to your cell phone or your mobile phone saying, okay, do you have your phone on you? And you're going to hit yes. By those two methods, we can say, okay, you are who you say you are, will now allow you to access your college email. And we've started this out actually on a few other solutions as well, but this is the first full major rollout that infects every one of our staff and faculty.
Okay. And we're doing that. I've used two-factor authentication pretty much anywhere I can for a long time. As you both know, I'm a little bit of a nerd.
It's good practice.
It's a good practice to put it in any place you go. And so I've used different apps for it. I've used the LastPass Authenticator app. There was another one a long time ago. I've moved over to that one, but we use the Duo app. So can you tell me a little bit about Duo and what it is and why we chose that one?
Duo is a good app. For one, the most attractive option of it is that the app itself is no cost to any of our users. It's a free download from either iTunes or Google if you have an Apple or Android phone. It's also incredibly versatile. So we chose Duo over some other solutions because Duo was the most supported on as many systems as we could find. So we're using it for things to protect email, as Thomas said. We're also using it to protect our VPN access, and we have a lot of other plans to roll it out to other systems very soon. So,
okay. And Tom, you used the letters VPN, which is Virtual Private Network. And we read about VPNs every year when we take our IT security training, and we take that, is it twice a year?
Twice a year.
Twice a year that we take that. Can you just explain to me, like I'm a 4-year-old, what is a virtual private network and why do I want one?
Yeah. So virtual private network is a way to remotely work from a computing network from the college. So let's say, for example, you want to work from home for the day or something like that. Utilize the college's new remote workforce policy. You can connect to the college's network just like you were sitting here at work or at the college and have access to all the things you would if you were on a campus. Right. So it makes our lives a lot more mobile. We can access things from different places, whether that be from at home or Starbucks or wherever you happen to be. So, but it's important to have two-factor integrated with that so that not just anybody can steal your credentials and utilize that to gain access to the college's network.
And then because I'm connecting essentially back to the college's network, and it's like I'm pretending to be here even though I'm not, am I also getting the benefit of all the other security tools that the college has?
Yes. So while you are connected, your web surfing, your emailing, all that kind of stuff is being protected by the systems that are in place on the college's network now.
Okay, cool. We all tend to throw around those acronyms and sort of take for granted that, okay, it's just something I should do. But if you don't understand what it does, I think that's hard.
Yeah.
There was one other security change that was put in place, which is you can't auto forward to another email address.
Right.
And I will just say, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I've tested this and it's true. It doesn't mean you can't forward to email addresses outside of Ivy Tech.
Correct.
You just can't bulk forward. Can you explain a little bit more about that one?
So one of the attack methods that bad guys use is that they will compromise an email account and set up a rule on that email account that says any email messages that come to this account, forward them to another email account. That way they can monitor the traffic. This is a popular attack method. So what we have done is said that we will not allow rules that allow the forwarding of all email to another email account. You can still forward individual emails to, other employees, in some cases, friends or family. But as a rule as a whole, you can't forward all of your email all of the time to another email account.
Okay, very good. So what else are you guys working on as the information security team?
The college has just signed a contract with one of our security vendors, Cisco Systems, for a term of 5 years. That basically gives Ivy Tech access to all of their security products. And that was a really big investment by the college in security. We get access to a lot of new tools and things that we're trying to roll out as quickly as possible. Some of those upcoming things will provide multiple layers of security, such as email, how you surf on the web, and some of those web threats that we've covered, like the support scams. So these will operate as more of a blanket for the entire college across the board. So we get access to a lot more things.
Okay.
We think of security kind of all the protections we have in place, like the layers of an onion. We kind of use that analogy a lot. And so it's called security in depth. So if they get past one layer of the onion, there's another layer behind it. The bad guys are always trying to find different ways to get through that onion. And so we're always adding additional security layers and protections in place to counter that. So by having this enterprise license agreement with Cisco, who is a major player in the security environment, it gives us access to all those tools to add even more layers to our onion, more protection to the college, and also to kind of extend that protection beyond just the borders of our campuses. One of the tools that we have that the security vendor provides is called Umbrella. And you think of it just like an umbrella would cover you from the rain. And this will protect your web browsing. So when you go to a website that's malicious or has been compromised, it will protect you from that website. And today, that protection exists while you're on campus. But we like to take those protections and extend them to our home users. So we can give the ability when you're home using your iPad or your laptop, and you have this tool installed on your device, then it'll also protect you while at home and off campus from these malicious websites. And that's one example of the things we're trying to do.
Cool. how does all this relate to those IT security trainings I do every year?
I think a lot of this has to do with how well we can prepare and educate our employees, our staff, our students on the threats that are around us, and just making people aware of things, the tactics the bad guys are currently using. I think it's important because they're always changing. So, what we may teach you this year may not be valid next year. It's important to stay current to a certain degree. And a lot of those things are just good practice. So having good privacy controls in place and understanding how people are dealing with data is always good to remind. So,
yeah. When you think of the security training, we are kind of training the security guards for the college. If you think of the college as kind of like a castle, IT security, puts up the walls and the towers and on the gate and has all the defenses in place. Well, the employees are kind of the guards. And we're making sure the guards know how to recognize, when there's going to be an intruder coming forward. Mm-hmm. The guards have the keys to the castle. Our employees, they have the keys to the data. They have the keys to access to the system. So making sure they understand how to protect those keys is paramount.
As two people who work in information security every day, what do you recommend to somebody? Let's go to the personal level. If somebody's listening to this and this just strikes fear for them, which I think it does for a lot of people, and our goal with education is to reduce your fear. What are things that, every end user, every person should be doing to protect their data at home where they don't all have all these protections in place? Or I always use the example, I used it in a conversation we were having the other day, of what do I tell my parents who are older? What do I tell them to do to protect themselves? What are the top three?
The biggest thing I would suggest would be don't use the same password on any two websites. Mm-hmm. You should make all accounts different. The next big thing, because it's very popular, is mm-hmm. social media. Mm-hmm. People should be concerned with their privacy and what they allow to remain public. The bad guys look at that stuff and they target people accordingly. So a lot of us are taking some of that privacy for granted anymore with social media in play. I would just ask that people evaluate their privacy settings on a lot of those services and lock those down. The other thing I would suggest is specifically in the realm of online banking, never use a link that someone would send you to access your bank. Mm-hmm. The best strategy I advise people on is to go to your bank's website, mm-hmm. bookmark it, and then only use that bookmark to access your bank or common other services as well.
In addition to that, just from a kind of housekeeping perspective, if you have a home PC or laptop, make sure you have a reputable virus scanner, mm-hmm. Tool on there to make sure it's protected. Protect, as Tom said, your passwords to your accounts. Keep your business and your personal stuff separate. Mm-hmm. Don't download company information to your home PC that's not protected. Don't do that.
Okay. So sometimes we get emails. This might have happened when I emailed the two of you on a Saturday morning and said, I might have just clicked on something I shouldn't have. What should I do when I either see something that I think might be suspicious, or if, like in my case, I do something that might have been like, oh my gosh, I think I've just done something terrible. What steps should I take when I do that?
Yeah. So if you have something that looks suspicious, you don't understand or think it might be malicious, or you made that mistake, had that whoops moment, we would like people to forward those emails mm-hmm. to abuse@ivtech.edu, and the security team can review those. Okay. The other thing we would like people to do is, if you realize you think you might have done something, right. the absolute next thing you should do is change your password. Right. So, but things that are sent to the abuse folder or the abuse inbox, the security team will review. So let's say that email had a malicious link in it mm-hmm. To take you to a bad guy's website. Mm-hmm. The security team, when we get those emails, we will attempt to block those links so that anyone else at the college who got that email, it won't work for them either. So it's a good way to let us know what kind of email threats the college is facing. It gives us visibility. What emails may be coming in for a campus in Evansville may not be the same as a campus mm-hmm. in Fort Wayne. So everybody gets targeted differently, but we get a greater visibility when people forward those emails to us.
Okay. And I analogize it to, sometimes like the other night I walked out and I realized, I forgot to put my garage door down when I came home at night. It's just a mistake. We're not looking to punish you or anything like that. It's just a mistake. Forward it just like I did. And be like, hey guys, I think I did something wrong here. Could you take a look at this?
I kind of maybe tie on that last point you're talking about, people making mistakes. I mean, the bad guys are always trying to change their game and they're sneaky. And so if you find that you do, fall for these phishing things or, any kind of scam, don't be embarrassed. Mm-hmm. It happens to the best of us. And communication is the best thing you can do in that regard.
Absolutely. So every episode ends with a call to action. I'm going to take this one personally, which is that when we roll out IT security training the next time, take a few extra minutes to really think about it, discuss it in your team meetings about questions or concerns you might have, and reach out to us if you have questions. We'd love to have these guys back and talk some more. So if you have questions that you've never known who you could ask, I ask these guys crazy questions all the time. So I'd love to bring that back in and have them on the podcast again. So we'd love for you to do that. And then just take these messages to heart that we really all do have a role in protecting the college's digital security as well as our own personal digital identity. So if you have questions or anything, please reach out to us. Thank you for joining this episode of Our College, Your Voices. I want to again thank the members of our panel, Thomas Reby and Tom Taylor. Guys, thank you so much for being here today. I'm your host, Kara Monroe. You can connect with me on Twitter at KNMTweets. Our producer is Ann Penny Valentine. Ann is on Twitter at IndyPenny. You can reach us by email at ourcollegeyourvoices@ivytech.edu. So if you do have burning security questions, you can drop them there, or you can always call and leave us a voicemail at 317-572-5049. Again, our voicemail number is 317-572-5049. Our website is ivytech.edu/podcast. And don't forget, if you are inside of the Ivy Tech community as a faculty or staff member, you can also join our Microsoft Teams listener community. Just log into Microsoft Teams, go to the Teams button, scroll down to join a team, and then you'll see the Our College Your Voices listener community there in that group. We'd love to have you there. We're actually starting to have a little bit of discussion there, which is kind of fun. Production assistance for this and every episode is provided by Becky Campbell, Sarah DeWitt, and the Ivy Tech Community College marketing team, and our podcast concept is by Matthew Pittman. Theme music, recording, and post-production services, as always, provided by the incredible Jen Eads at the Brassy Broadcasting Company. We will talk to you next time on Our College, Your Voices.